What if I told you the real-life Ace Rothstein survived a car bombing by complete accident? Or that Joe Pesci's character was so terrifying that real pit bosses thought he had come back from the dead? Casino is one of the most ruthless mob films ever made. But the behind-the-scenes stories? They're even more shocking. Welcome to Primetime Throwback, where today we're exposing the blood-soaked truth behind Scorsese's glittering gangster epic Casino. From FBI bugs hidden in casino plants to the real mobsters who feared for their lives when the film was released. The bombing that should have killed Ace. The film opens with Sam Rothstein being violently thrown from his car during an explosion. Most viewers assume this is Hollywood dramatization. It's not. In October 1982, the real Frank Lefty Rosenthal turned the key in his Cadillac Eldorado and triggered a devastating bomb planted underneath. By all accounts, he should have died instantly. So why didn't he? Pure coincidence. His car had a metal stabilization plate under the driver's seat, a safety feature exclusive to certain European luxury models. This plate absorbed just enough of the blast to keep him alive. The only reason I'm alive today is because of the way General Motors made that car, Rosenthal later admitted. This wasn't skilled survival. It was dumb luck that saved one of Vegas's most powerful mob associates, the ghost of Spilatro. When Joe Pesci walked onto the casino set for the first time, something extraordinary happened. Actual Vegas casino employees, people who had known the real Tony Spilatro, physically recoiled at the sight of him. Imagine this. You spent years terrified of a mob enforcer known for his brutality. That man died, and you thought the nightmare was over. Then one day, you see him walk into your casino back from the dead. One pit boss actually went pale, a production assistant later revealed. He thought he was seeing a ghost. Pesci didn't just look like Spilatro, he became him. The walk, the mannerisms, the cold, dead stare that made hardened gamblers look away. It wasn't acting. It was resurrection. Deadly accurate. The film that terrified the mob. Making Casino wasn't just another Hollywood production. It was Dancing with Death. Universal's legal team was so concerned about mob retaliation that they demanded Scorsese change every real name in the script. Even the word Chicago was completely erased, replaced with the vague phrase, "back home." The studio feared not just lawsuits, but actual violence against the production. Their fears weren't unfounded. When the real Frank Rosenthal heard how his late wife Gary was being portrayed by Sharon Stone, he was furious, claiming the depiction was nothing like the real woman. Robert De Niro's research for his role as Sam Rothstein went beyond studying news clippings. He managed to arrange a secret meeting with Rosenthal himself at a restaurant in Florida. The conversation lasted 5 hours, with De Niro absorbing every mannerism, speech pattern, and gesture. According to production assistants, De Niro returned from this meeting and completely transformed his portrayal, incorporating dozens of subtle details only someone who had spent time with Rosenthal would recognize. But those who knew them both tell a different story. The portrayal was so accurate it was uncomfortable to watch, said one former Stardust employee. Right down to the erratic behavior, the substance abuse, even the way she died alone in that motel. It was like watching a documentary, not a movie. The hidden microphone that brought down an empire. While Casino portrays FBI surveillance, the real story is even more incredible. For months, federal agents recorded conversations between mob bosses through a microphone hidden inside a decorative cactus plant at the Tropicana. This wasn't fiction. It was documented in FBI reports. Agents listened as mobsters openly discussed skimming operations, money laundering, and hits, all while sitting next to what they thought was just another piece of casino decor. The FBI operation, codenamed Operation Strawman, ran for nearly 3 years and collected over 30,000 hours of recorded conversations. When they finally moved in, they had gathered so much evidence that the entire mob operation collapsed virtually overnight. Like, comment, and subscribe to Primetime Throwback. If you're fascinated by the dark reality behind Hollywood's greatest crime classics, hit that subscribe button now. Drop a comment telling us which casino secret shocked you most, and like this video so more film fans can discover these hidden stories. Our deep dives into cinema's most notorious gangster films are just getting started. The vice grip scene, fiction that felt too real. Perhaps the most disturbing scene in Casino shows Nicky Santoro torturing a man by crushing his head in a vice until his eyeball pops out. It's so graphic that many viewers assume it must be based on a real incident. While Tony Spilotro was certainly capable of extreme violence, there's no evidence this specific torture method was ever used. The scene was so brutally realistic that the MPAA demanded Scorsese cut it down multiple times to avoid an NC-17 rating. Even after these edits, the final version barely secured an R rating. When test audiences first saw the uncut version, several people actually vomited in the theater. Multi-million-dollar jewelry, not props. When Sharon Stone glides across the casino floor dripping in diamonds, you're not seeing costume jewelry. Those are real diamonds, sometimes worth millions of dollars per scene. The security concerns were so significant that the jeweler remained on set during filming, watching every move to ensure nothing disappeared between takes. This extravagance significantly increased the film's budget, but Scorsese insisted on authenticity. "You can tell the difference on screen," the director explained. "Real diamonds catch light in a way fake ones never will." The Casino Empire. 7,000 real gamblers on camera. To capture the authentic atmosphere of a working casino, Scorsese employed an unprecedented approach, filming inside an actual functioning gambling hall with real patrons. Over 7,000 real gamblers appear in the background throughout the film. Many weren't even aware they were being filmed for a major motion picture. They were simply asked to continue playing while cameras rolled nearby. The logistics of this approach were staggering. Cinematographer Robert Richardson had to develop specialized lighting techniques that wouldn't disrupt the casino operations while still achieving Scorsese's signature visual style. Sound engineers developed a revolutionary microphone system that could isolate actors' voices from the casino background noise. The Pesci-Vincent violence trilogy. Joe Pesci and Frank Vincent shared one of cinema's most brutal on-screen relationships, playing out across 3 separate Scorsese films in a strange trilogy of escalating violence. In Raging Bull, 1980, Pesci savagely beats Vincent in a nightclub. In Goodfellas, 1990, Vincent gets his revenge, stomping Pesci's character to death. In Casino, 1995, Vincent completes the circle, killing Pesci with a baseball bat before burying him alive. What few people know is that Pesci and Vincent's relationship extended far beyond Scorsese's films. They first met in 1969 as struggling musicians playing the same New Jersey club circuit. Their natural chemistry and ability to push each other's buttons made them perfect foils on screen. The baseball bat execution, scored hauntingly to House of the Rising Sun, was disturbingly accurate. The real Spilotro and his brother were indeed beaten to death before burial in an Indiana cornfield. What the film doesn't show? They were still breathing when the dirt covered them. The aftermath. Hollywood versus reality. The film ends with Sam Rothstein surviving and retiring peacefully as a sports handicapper, delivering the famous line, "And that's that." But the real Frank Rosenthal lived a very different ending. After surviving the car bombing, he fled to Florida in terror, constantly looking over his shoulder. He refused to attend the film's premiere, still afraid the mob would finish the job decades later. What Casino doesn't reveal is how deeply Rosenthal's Vegas experience haunted him until his final days. According to close associates, he developed extreme paranoia, installing elaborate security systems in his Florida home and employing personal bodyguards well into his 70s. He would frequently change restaurants mid-meal if he spotted anyone suspicious, and he never sat with his back to a door, habits he maintained for over 25 years after leaving Las Vegas. Perhaps most telling was Rosenthal's reaction to the film's conclusion. When asked about De Niro's character finding peace as a sports handicapper, Rosenthal reportedly laughed and said, "That's Hollywood fantasy. In this life, nobody who crossed them ever sleeps well again." Closing thoughts. From the opening explosion to the final corporate takeover, Casino remains one of cinema's most detailed examinations of the rise and fall of criminal empires. But now you know, the reality was even more shocking than what made it to the screen. The legacy of Casino extends far beyond its initial reception. When first released in 1995, many critics dismissed it as Scorsese retreading familiar territory after Goodfellas. Time has vindicated the film, now widely regarded as one of the director's masterpieces. A meticulous examination of how the corporate world eventually overtook even organized crime in the race for profit. What's remarkable is how Casino predicted the future of Las Vegas. As Rothstein narrates in the film's closing moments, the town will never be the same. He was right. Today's Vegas, dominated by corporate entertainment conglomerates, bears little resemblance to the mob-run playground of the 1970s. The film captured the precise moment when the city's soul changed hands, from gangsters to shareholders. If you're fascinated by the dark truths behind Hollywood's greatest crime classics, make sure to like this video, drop a comment sharing which casino revelation shocked you most, and subscribe to Primetime Throwback for more explorations into cinema's most fascinating criminal underworlds. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our next deep dive. Want to know which Goodfellas actor had a real mob contract put on his life during filming? Or why Robert De Niro's method acting almost got him arrested on the Casino set? Stay tuned to Primetime Throwback, where we expose the stories Hollywood doesn't want you to know. Thanks for watching.